Alright, so first and foremost, I just want to say thank you guys for the overwhelming amount of support you show me over the past few days with the views, with the, just with all the love in general. I very, very much appreciate it. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do the red tier list. I did the green tier list, like, give or take 3 or 4 days ago. So yeah, I did that, and the changes were pretty big on there, but red units, honestly, they haven't been shown much love. Like, there's only, what, 8 units that have been released since I last made a red tier list video, and it's been months. It's literally been months, and there's only been 8 red units. That just goes to show how powerful blue units are, right? It literally just goes to show how powerful they are. Maybe Netmarble was scared to put out red units. I don't know. Who knows? But yes, of course, it has changed. I already modified it. There's been a lot of changes. You can see Lost Vein went down from SS. I'll give my reason on that. Sario is still at SS, so is Red Gother. Dedeyede's A class, so is Red Arthur, right? So there's been a lot of changes. I'm gonna try and go over more so the bigger changes to the tier list, but it is late and I'm pretty tired, so hopefully I don't come off as, trying to rush or anything, but we'll see if I, manage to get all the points in this video, right? So I guess we'll just get started. So Red Arthur, right? Red Arthur, very, very good unit, definitely S tier. One of the best red units in the game. He has a taunt. If you hit him while he has his taunt up, you get your ultimate move gauge reduced by 1 or 2 depending on the rank. His damage is okay, right? His charge card isn't all that, but his ultimate has detonate on it, which is very powerful because detonate, when scaled off an ultimate, is strong. So detonate, having that on his ultimate is very good, very, very good. So yes, he is S tier plus. He works with various humans for his passive. You can't run him with demons, fairies, any other race besides humans. You cannot run him with. So keep that in mind. But very good unit, very, very good unit. Denzel. I would put him honestly in C tier. Denzel's not great. I was really, really. I guess I wasn't shocked, but I was just really, really like underwhelmed with how Denzel performed. He wasn't. I don't know. I just thought they could do better with him, right? So he has a lifesteal single target card, which is like not that great. His stance is good. It's Dead Man's Revenge, and if we go take a look, right, Dead Man's Revenge is very powerful because of the fact that, it does apply corrosion on an enemy when they hit him. So it's very powerful, but I guess depending on the rank, right, it can be weak or it can be strong. So here you can see 30% of remaining HP on rank 2, and then max HP on rank 3. So once he reaches rank 3 with this stance, that's actually very strong. Like, it's one of the strongest stance cards in the game, because having this stacked, keep in mind, again, this stacks, right? Having this stacked, if they hit him 3 times, that's 90% of the max HP that they take as damage at the end of their turn. So yeah, it's very strong, but more times than often, you're not going to really see rank 3, right? You might see rank 2 if you use him a lot, but you definitely won't be seeing rank 3 a lot. You just won't. Unfortunately, my boy Denzel is just not that strong. His passive sucks. It is what it is. He's definitely C tier. I wouldn't put him in like trash or D tier, because you definitely could use him if you really, really wanted to. You definitely could. But otherwise, like, he's really not all that. Red Easton. Red Easton, I would put in A tier. Originally, when she came out, if you would have, asked me months ago when she did release, I probably would have put her in C tier. But with Purgatory Bond actually coming out, she is very, very good as a support unit. She depletes ult gauge. She, removes debuffs, increases defense-related stats. She's very strong, right? She's a very strong support on that team. Not only that, in general, she's pretty good. Like, she actually is pretty good. The thing about her, right, that I thought at the time is her passive. I was just thinking of her passive. Her passive sucks. Her passive is actually pretty bad. Unless we just get a plethora of disaster units in the near future that are like super OP, mega busted, broken, her passive is really not that good. Even if we do single target attack, like, why would they do that to my girl Easton, right? If it was just decreases damage that allies take from attacks by 6%, it'd be good, right? But they made it very specific, and that's the thing that I don't like, right? So it's literally single target attacks. If they do AoE attacks, her passive is just pointless, right? There's no point to her passive. So that's the thing I don't like about her, but otherwise, like, her ult depletion, her buff skill, very strong. She can somewhat do damage on her ult, but the chances of her critting are actually pretty low. Let's go take a look at her again, right? Her crit chance is actually not that high, which is pretty unfortunate considering her ultimate has spike on it. But I mean, it is what it is, right? If we just take a look, like, yeah, 25% crit chance is just not cutting it, right? So unfortunately, she probably won't crit ever. But I mean, hey, you know, at least she, you know, I don't know. At least she has spike on her ult, I guess. But A tier definitely for sure. My girl Jericho probably would put her honestly in the same range as Easton. I could see an argument if you wanted to put her in B, right? I know a lot of people probably aren't even going to watch this explanation of Jericho, and they're going to be like, Jericho is definitely, like, you know, B class and not A. But here's the thing about Red Jericho, right? Red Jericho released at a kind of awkward time, because I believe on Global she released literally like 2 weeks before the one Escanor dropped. So it was kind of just a big, like, kick to the face for her, right? So she did release at a very, very weird time, but I don't think that should undermine how, you know, how she performs. She can freeze on rank 2 and rank 3 on her first skill. You know, she has detonate. She's very, very strong, right? She's very, very strong. At least, no, I think detonate is actually her first skill, right? I think detonate is actually her first skill. It's been a minute since I used this Red Jericho, I'm not gonna lie, right? But she's very strong. Okay, no, so freeze on rank 2 and rank 3 on her first skill, and then detonate on her second skill, right? And also, she will reduce whatever enemy she crits on. She will reduce their defense related stats by 40%. So that's literally equal to Ladociel's passive right there. So she does have to crit, unfortunately. So you could run her with, like, someone who could help her, Green Gother, you know, Blue Easton, someone to just help her crit, right? You could even run her with Ludo. You literally could run her with Ludo, although I don't know how this would work. If this is a red debuff, because believe it or not, I actually never got this to proc. If this is a red debuff and it stacks, that's a minus 40 or a minus 80%. 80% to their defense related stats. That's insane, right? So she does have to crit, but it's still pretty good. I mean, you can use her in PvE if you really wanted to. Like you can see here, she's really useful for Red Demon. You know, she could be useful for other various stages in the game, reverse stages, training cave, final bosses, maybe even. Like, she's good. She's good, definitely. I would definitely put her in A tier. She has a lot of, you know, she has a lot of potential when other units come out. So we'll see. But definitely A tier. Now, Jim. My boy Jim is probably S. I'm going to be completely real with y'all right now. Jim is just borderline, like, one of the, like, best collab characters. Maybe even, to say he's the best collab character is a stretch. But he is good, man. I mean, you look at the utility that he brings to the game. He stuns. He dissolves ults. You know, he has weak point on his ultimate. And when I say dissolves ultimates, I mean he has a, you know, a depletion ult card, whatever you want to call it, right? So he has that. His passive is very strong, right? For collab heroes, at least. It applies direct hit. That means they take 40% more damage. They get poison. It's just very, very strong. The only thing about him, I think, that holds him back is the fact that, you know, he is squishy. His defense is really, like, it's not the worst, but he is pretty squishy, right? His substats are really good, though. His substats are good. Crit chance and crit damage, pretty good. So yeah, like, for a free-to-play unit, this is actually good. Like, this is actually really good. You know, again, 60%, 10% regeneration, you know, 60% crit chance or crit resistance. Very good, very, very good. Like, again, keep in mind he was given to us for free, so very strong. And then again, he can't use this in deathmatch. I think that's what holds him back as well. If he could use this in deathmatch, he would literally be one of the best, like, one of the best units to run on the Crimson Hell Demon. So Yeah, very strong, very very strong. But Jim is just like really good. Mike. Okay, so then we got Rem. So Rem is good. I want to put her here. I think I will. I think I will, right? Because she's very, very like weird the way she works, right? Because she does have to use a skill, move a skill, rank up a skill to get her passive to proc, which increases her attack related stats by 5%, right? I think it caps at 5. So she's good. She's not bad. She's really good. It's just depending on the situation, I guess she could like underperform, but more times than not, she will hit really hard even against a blue unit. You know, she has very good viability with her second skill, which decreases ultimate move damage, you know, stops the effects of ultimate moves. It's just very strong. And then she also has Shatter AoE. Now, Shatter AoE, in my personal opinion, it's one of the strongest ultimate move effects. Like if it's on ultimates, it's borderline just one of the strongest like skill effects that an ultimate can have. Because we take a look at, let's say King, for example, right? When King is 6 out of 6, all 3 of them, they hit really, really hard. Shatter just ignores resistance, but keep in mind, resistance is what helps you like also not get crit or take too much crit, right? So the way resistance works is weird, but Shatter just completely ignores it anyway. So you're going to be taking a huge amount of damage. So it doesn't even matter. Right, Shatter is just very good. I like Shatter. I really, really like Shatter. Like, if you go ahead into the game right now and you use a unit with a Shatter ultimate, you are going to do massive damage. I can almost guarantee you, if they're, you know, high duped at least, right? I can almost guarantee you they're going to do massive damage. So yeah, Rem definitely is S-class. I wouldn't say she's anything higher, like SS for sure, but she is definitely S-class. My boy Shin, I'll put Shin in B. I think the thing about Shin is that he needs debuffs in order for him to like always crit. Now he can proc his passive himself. The problem with that though is he needs to use his skill 2 at rank 2, right? So it's a little bit of a prerequisite if you don't have a good support unit with him to proc his passive for himself, but it can still work, right? Like I've used Red Shin a little bit and he's not bad. He really isn't. Again, he released at an awkward time because of the fact that the one Escanor came out literally again 2 weeks after he released on global. So again, he came out at an awkward time, but he's good. He is good. Keep in mind that when they release you know, another unit that could, I don't know, have passively debuffs the enemy, like, well, he could work with Kyo though, right? He could actually work with Kyo now that I'm thinking about it. If you run him with Kyo, he's always gonna crit because Kyo is gonna always proc ignites on the enemy. The only thing is like Escanor, right, who gets debuff immunity, but that's not even, you know, the one Escanor is really not all that crazy anymore. So I could see him somewhat making a renaissance. In fact, I might actually make a video using him in PvP. Because he's, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, he's good. Like, he is good. I don't think a lot of people give him credit. Maybe because, again, he came out at an awkward time. People just don't have him because he's limited. There could be a lot of reasons why people might underrate him, but I think he is really good. I think he's still really good. In fact, I might move him up. No. I'll keep him at B. We'll see. I might make a video on him, though. But yeah, I guess that's it for all the new red units that released since I made a tier list video. Now, I'm going over the existing units, right, beforehand. So, Lost Vein moved down to S. I just think that Lost Vein doesn't cut it in PvP. PvE, he's still good. In PvP, I just don't think he's good. I'm going to be honest. I genuinely do not think he's good unless you're alt-rushing. You know, you get God's Elizabeth to stun all the time, get his ult. But he really, like, he just doesn't do anything. Like, most units have a lot of crit resistance, so he's not critting often. His charge doesn't really do that much. There's just a lot of counters to him these days, so I just don't think he's all that crazy anymore. So, you know, it is what it is. Dede, I mean, she's aged, right? But she's aging good. She's just aged, you know, A class. I don't think she'll move down from A for a while until we get another red unit that pretty much, because Rem is kind of like Derriere in a way where she just buffs herself. She also has Amplify on her first skill, and Derriere has it on her ult. But Derriere, to get buffed, has to consistently use skills, right? And if she doesn't, it goes away. So while she has to consistently use skills, Rem doesn't. Rem doesn't have to do that. She just literally moves a card and she's good. So that's why I think Derriere just moved down, but she's still good. Kyo, he can't be used in deathmatch, and not a lot of people run him anywhere else. So, you know, PvP is pretty much his main content that people use him for, and he is good there. So A class for sure. Arthur's still a very good support unit, very good support unit. A tier for sure. Zeldris moved down. I mean, we have Festival Zeldris, who has more CC than him. You know, just overall better buff that he gives, because he isn't dependent on commandments. He's dependent on debuffs. So it's kind of better because a lot of people don't really run commandments all that much. So there you go. And plus Zeldris, he's aged. You know, he has aged. I mean, he still has a good kit that you could use in PvE content, but in terms of PvP, like, he's really not, he's not doing much. Hawk and Oslo, I don't know. I really had a hard time. I even put on Twitter, where would people place them? I'll put them in B tier for sure for their ult, but otherwise, like, no one really has this unit because they're so limited. So I can't even really give a fair assessment. Maybe that's, you know, maybe it's unfair for me to put them in B, but I mean, we'll see if I ever get them. We'll see if I use them in PvE and stuff like that. So I don't know. Red Escanor obviously aged a lot. He really isn't that crazy anymore. Red Demon Melee, again, same thing. Red Gloxinia. Red Gloxinia, I think I actually moved him up. Red Gloxinia is very, very good. I think you know, he's one of the units in this game that I underestimated heavily when, you know, he dropped. So he's good. Levi, you can use him in Crimson Demon if you really wanted to, and other areas of content, because he's still decent. C and D, I mean, do I really have to explain? I mean, maybe like I'll explain Lilia, Evil Lilia. You know, she's I mean, I guess, but everyone here is pretty much self-explanatory. It doesn't really take a genius to figure out why they're here. They're either like just supports, or, you know, they only are on a sub slot. They just don't output enough damage. They've aged poorly. Like, you know, there's a trillion reasons why these units could be here, but I don't really feel like going over every single unit. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this tier list. I mean, let me know down in the comments if you think this tier list is accurate. Where would you place units, etc., etc. Let me know. But yeah, if you did enjoy, go ahead and leave a like for the algorithm, and you already know I will see you all next time.